Back in May of 1986, I was getting ready to go see that weekend a movie that was opening called Top Gun. 36 years later, getting ready to go see a movie that's opening this weekend called Top Gun, the sequel. 36 years. It seems like about the right amount of time to wait to sort of build anticipation for a sequel, right? But it got me started thinking about the impact that first movie had on my life. And I was going to call this the Top Gun impact or the Top Gun factor, but both of those sounded a little bit too over the top because the movie didn't really change my life. It just added a little to it. And that gave me the idea for the title, the Top Gun Additive. See, an additive is something you introduce to something else to improve it a little bit or to preserve it. And I think that first movie did a little bit of both of those for me. That opening weekend in 1986, I was a senior in college at Northwestern. Go Cats. And the group of us that went included a few wannabe jet pilots. See, Top Gun didn't make me want to become a pilot. I was already on that path. What it did do, however, was make that path seem a whole lot cooler. To me, to the rest of us who saw the movie that weekend, and to anybody we told, yeah, that's what we're going to go do. In fact, the next weekend we set up a volleyball net in the yard of the house we were renting and stripped off our shirts and played 2-on-2 volleyball. Now, it wasn't really shirts off weather in Chicago at that time, but we had on our sunglasses, we had on our dog tags with the way cool black silencers, just like in the movie. A couple weekends later, we're at the student union and we decided we're going to serenade a young lady with our best rendition of You've Lost That Love and Feeling. But like they said in the movie, it's a good thing each of us had another career to look forward to and didn't have to worry about earning our living being singers. Didn't get to start flight training right away. The first stop was Marine officer training, learning to be a Marine, learning to be a leader, but eventually got to go to Pensacola, Florida to start flight training. Finally, fulfilling that need for speed. And the first airplane I get to fly was a turboprop, the T-34 Charlie. Now, it's only speedy if you compare it to something like the family station wagon, but it was flying. The other thing that happened in Pensacola was we got to select the airplanes we were going to fly for our career. And most everybody wanted to fly jets. Only a few slots of those available to each class, and I was fortunate enough to get one of those slots, which put me on the road to Beeville, Texas. Now, don't worry, I had no idea where Beeville, Texas was when I was assigned there either. In fact, the night I drove into town, I stopped at the one traffic light and I got on the roof of the car because I was looking to see if I could see where the airfield was by looking for the light on top of the airfield tower. Here's a fun fact. Military airfields, those lights on top of the tower will give one green flash and two white flashes. If it's a civilian airfield, it'll give one green flash and one white flash. So you can amaze your friends the next time you're driving by an airport at night by looking for those flashes and telling them whether it's a military or civilian airfield. But Beeville, Texas was the start of fulfilling that need for speed. Jet airplanes, the T-2, the A-4, and the first opportunity to do something called carrier qualification. Yep, take those jet airplanes and land them on a ship in the middle of the ocean, just like in the movie. And I think before the practice for each of those events, I probably watched, if not the whole movie, at least scenes from the movie as a way to motivate myself, as a way to sort of help preserve that dream of becoming a pilot, the Top Gun additive at work. And I think that the additive had made a few other improvements in my life at that point already. It made me wear sunglasses all the time, which is a good thing. It introduced some new aviation terms to my vocabulary, like check six, flyby, go ballistic. And maybe, just maybe, boosted my ego a little bit. I mean, if you were to believe my wife, she would tell you that that has continued unchecked since that time. But the other thing that happened at Beeville was call signs and kind of putting your call sign in place for final. And these are things that stick with you for your whole flying career and maybe even your whole life. And of course, after the Top Gun movie, everybody wanted to be Iceman or Maverick, cool call sign like that. But you don't get to pick your call sign. I was lucky. I call sign is Turbo, which in the grand scheme of call signs is pretty darn good. And my flying career would continue, and every now and then the Top Gun additive would be apparent. In 1990, my squadron was activated and flew to Saudi Arabia to participate in what would become Desert Storm. Now, I will tell you that real-world combat is not like combat in the movie Top Gun. But there were some things from the movie that were relevant. Things like being a good wingman had applicability not only in flying airplanes, but kind of in everything we do in life. Being a good teammate matters. As the years continued, every now and then Top Gun would come on TV and I would stop on the channel to watch at least a portion of it. It kind of became a habit for me every time I moved to use the opening scene from Top Gun when I was setting up my entertainment system. And I don't know about you, but I don't think there's anything better to use to check out your surround sound system than those first few minutes of the original Top Gun movie. So I am looking forward to the sequel coming out, because it's been 36 years since the first introduction to the Top Gun additive into my life. And I really do think additive is the right word. It boosted my ego a little bit, it improved my ambition a little bit, it improved my desire to be the best of the best a little bit. It helped preserve the dream of being a pilot and a test pilot when those things were challenged every now and again. So it didn't change my life, just made some things a little bit better. And maybe this resonates with you and maybe it doesn't. But here is something I think we can take away from the first movie, because sometimes life gets busy, life gets complicated. And that first movie taught us one very important thing. Like in the movie and like in life, every now and then, it's time to buzz the tower. Keep that in mind. Turbo out.